This is Guy and Roseanne, and welcome to part 2 of our 4-part series on the Embassy RV Meetup.
If you've been following our channel, then you've already seen a tour of the Embassy Dolphin S as built on a Ford Transit chassis. But what you may not know is that the Embassy Dolphin S can also be built on either a Dodge ProMaster chassis or a Sprinter chassis. So in this part of our series, we're going to let you meet someone who has an Embassy Dolphin S on a ProMaster and see her build and talk to her a little bit about her chassis choice, and also meet a couple that has the Embassy Dolphin S on the short wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter and have them talk about their chassis choice and show you a little bit around their van. So hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're continuing walking around here at the Embassy Meetup and say hello to Sherry. Sherry, say hi.
Hello.
And one of the great things about Embassy, fairly unique, at least in my experience in researching vans, is that the most popular Embassy layout, which is the Dolphin S, you can get it on 3 different chassis.
Yes.
Right? The Transit or the Sprinter, or in this case the ProMaster. I'm just going to pan over here, and Sherry has chosen the ProMaster. And tell us why ProMaster for you?
Well, I actually had the option to pick a Transit or a ProMaster, and for me, I kind of was cost conscious, and at the time I ordered mine, there was a significant difference between the 2 chassis, and I felt that the Dodge Ram ProMaster would take me everywhere I could go. I was short enough to fit in under the air conditioning. I didn't need that extra room. It's a little bit shorter, so that's why I went with the ProMaster.
So explain that a bit. There's some differences, right, in the dimensions of the Transit and the ProMaster?
Correct.
Right.
The Transit is taller, and the ProMaster is a little bit shorter, and even with the air rooftop air conditioning, it's only 8 feet 11 inches tall, so just under 9. The ProMaster is also a little bit wider than the Transit, and the Transit kind of comes with like curved sides. However, the way Embassy builds it out with their framework, you pretty much have the same amount of living space inside. So, and then the ProMaster is also shorter. I think about maybe, I don't know, a foot or so shorter. So, yeah.
And a little bit, I think, higher off the ground, right?
Yes, it's higher off the ground. So when I park, like I can pull all the way up and have the wheels touch the parking spot stop and not worry about scraping the bumper or anything.
So maybe for travelers who are 6 feet tall and over, the Transit is something they probably have to lean to. But for someone who's not that tall, this is a perfectly viable option. Right?
Yes.
And a lot of people really like. This is the same chassis, for example, that the Travato is built on. Right?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So why don't we go inside for a second? You
Yeah,
can show
come
us
on
around.
in.
Another reason I like to look at Sherry's van is that the majority of embassies that we see around the campsite here have gone with the sort of black, white, gray kind of motif, and you've gone with sort of the warmer colors. And so maybe talk about your color scheme here a bit.
Sure. The outside of my van is actually sandstone, and I was fortunate enough when I ordered my van to be able to pick a color. And I know because of supply chain, that's kind of changed, and maybe someday they'll get back to it. So, and I felt that I kind of liked the warmer earth colors, the tans and the browns. I didn't want a lot of dark, so I just have a little bit of darker khaki here. But then I went with the kind of the light khaki and the tans. And then I just started looking around my house, and all of a sudden I had things that I had gotten in El Salvador, India, Kenya, and it just kind of like all came together.
I'm already noticing at least one mod that looks really cool to me, and that is the Lagoon table. Where did you pick that up?
This? Well, actually some wonderful friends, Bob and Deb Scott, they made this table and they were going to use it, but then in the end, Bob's talented wife, Deb, made a acrylic pour table, and so I was a beneficiary of this table.
Well, it's really cool looking.
Yeah.
Do you have any other sort of favorite mods or gizmos or gear that you've added that you really like?
Yes, I do. In fact, I have bought off of Amazon these hooks, and they just kind of fit over the counter, so that if I want to, I can hang, like I have a plant, hanging plant that I actually have hanging outside right now. But more importantly, what I can do with these is I can hang them on the inside, and you don't have to come around, but I can hang this on the inside of this door, and then on a couple of, I have a basket. I have like a cloth basket, and I'll take it out of this one here. So I can hang that on the inside, and I can get more storage. I can put shoes in there, or if you're crazy, you can have glow-in-the-dark glasses. But yeah, I have 2 pair of kind of shoes, flat shoes in here. So that you know, so I really love. And then I got this from another owner, but I have this little thing that can hold my bags, paper bags, some wipes, a dishcloth, so different things like that. So these over-the-counter, like, I don't know that all RVs have the ability to actually hook things over. So yeah, so I like that. And I actually have an e-bike, which I can fit in the back. So, and I also use these hooks in the back as well. Yep. So that's probably my favorite mods.
Excellent. And with respect to just Embassy generally, what's your favorite thing about owning an Embassy van?
Oh my goodness. The people that you meet, I mean, it allows me to go to visit my daughter who lives in North Carolina, which I wouldn't get to see as often. I can, at one year I stayed in her yard from Thanksgiving until the 3rd week in January, so I got to hang out with my daughter. But it's the Embassy family, the van owners in Embassy in general are just a great community of people. So it's going to allow me to travel, to make memories with family, with friends. The other thing I like to do is volunteer in my van. So I do some work with child sponsorship organizations that sponsor kids internationally. And I can go on the road, and I can go into any of the states in the United States and work events and help get kids sponsored. Eventually I would love to go where, like, there's a disaster, like a hurricane or something, and go afterwards and help clean up, because I can stay in my van and I don't need to take up a hotel room or something.
That's
so, yeah.
awesome. So you're a solo traveler.
I am a solo
And some
traveler.
people find that idea intimidating, and I think particularly for solo women travelers. What do you say to that, to those folks?
Well, people ask me if I'm afraid to go on the road, because you know, there's a lot of danger, and what I say is, if I stay home, I could find myself in a dangerous situation in a church, in my library, in the shopping mall. So I am going to go on the road, and I am not going to let fear dictate my life. You know, I think about driving. I think about, like, if I'm on the road, if I break down, but you just take the precautions. You have the insurance on your van, you have the towing, and you have the numbers and things, and you know, don't let fear limit the adventures in your life. So that's what I say.
Great stuff. Well, thanks for inviting us into your van.
All right, thank you, Guy.
Okay, so I'm continuing my journey around the campground here with this wonderful gathering of Embassy vans, and I want you to say hello to John and Kathy. Say hi, John and Kathy.
Hi.
And you guys are from Tennessee, yes?
Yes.
And Clemson Tigers, both, yes?
Yes.
Which makes you stars in my book. So one of the things that we're trying to do in walking around is show people the various different options they have for building out their embassy. And as we just saw in our visit with Sherry, whose embassy is built on a ProMaster, one of the somewhat unique things about Embassy is that its most popular floor plan, which is the Dolphin S, can be purchased on a variety of different chassis depending upon what appeals to you. And John and Kathy have chosen the short wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter that you see here. And I just want to ask you guys a little bit about that choice. What do you see as the pros and cons of having chosen the short Sprinter for your embassy?
I think there's a lot of flexibility. It's 19 feet 7 inches, so it's probably almost the shortest of all the models that are available, and we can go anywhere. If it's in a standard parking spot, we can go everywhere. Now we do have 4-wheel drive. Not that we've ever used it, not that we're climbing boulders or anything, but it does give us a little more confidence, I guess, going down a dirt road or if there's some snow or something.
So I'm noticing right away that with this 4-wheel drive Sprinter that it's higher off the ground than what I see when I look at the Fords.
We also had a conversion lift kit, I guess. So we've got different shocks and different springs on it, and that helped to give us a much better ride.
I see some Falcon shocks, which we have on ours as well.
But we've never had an issue with our running boards and curbs. Everything's been really great with that. And it's, even with whatever you get for your suspension, it's still a van, but it's a smoother ride.
I think trade-offs would be there is very, very little storage here. We've got our garage is basically under here. We've got some garage space right where I stuff the screen to get it out of the way. I mean, the red box here are the batteries, so there is some space here. There's a little space in the back, which I guess as we'll wander around towards the end to be able to see that.
But the reason we went with the Mercedes is we liked the way that it drove. We tested it with the Rebel. We liked driving that. We didn't like the build out of the Rebel. We've got heated seats. We've got lumbar support. We've got electric seats, lane assist, blind spot, 360 camera for when you're parking. But also too, we got a mod where we can have 360 or front back views all around. So a lot of safety features. Like I said, very, very nice for riding because we figure we're going to be driving a lot. We want to have something that's going to be comfortable.
Now, am I right? Do you have a power sliding door?
We
Yes.
have a power sliding door.
And so for our audience members who own the Ford Transit, which does not come equipped with a power sliding door, maybe let's just take a look at that.
Yeah. The other thing that we have
There's a button here to push, although
we have a nice fob. So it's keyless. We do not have to have a key.
sorry, blocking the shot.
That's all right.
But we can open
There go my production values.
down the tube. But we can open it with this. We can use it open close here. We can also close it from the front seat and all. So lots of different options. And you can open it part way if you like. So, and open and stop. So if it's air conditioning's on and I want to just run in really quick and not waste it, I can do that.
All right, that's great stuff. Now, let's see, folks who follow our channel are of course familiar with our cargo area in the back, and let's kind of let them see the difference. So they can.
The interior basically.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the interior in a minute as well. But I'm going to follow you around the back, John.
So there really isn't one. We've got 4 inches here, our Pico chairs, one here, put a bungee cord, one on top of it, a bungee cord. We haven't figured out what to put up here yet. Where it's a little narrower, maybe it's like 3 inches, so not a lot, not the spacious rear 40 that you have.
But
and then even on this side, there isn't any on this side.
and that's the nature of a chassis choice, right?
Yeah.
You're trading some storage for some maneuverability and the ability maybe to go some places the larger vehicle can't go.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't mind, let's take a quick look inside.
Yeah, but what we've done, and we don't have a lot of storage here, but we've made up for inside of how we pack.
All right, well, let's go look. All right, Kathy has brought us inside now. And one thing that I'm noticing, which I'm guessing is a choice that maybe is related to the size of the vehicle, is you went with very bright colors.
Went with very bright colors, so we've got the light as light as we can get. So everything is white, but depending on what light is around, this could look a little bit gray. So it's not like it's white. You do get some accent. So, you know, that works out really well for us. So far as storage goes, John's 6'2". This is where he sleeps. And all we have to do is turn the front passenger seat around, pull this out, take this down, and he's got a bed without any issues. Doesn't bang his head. Like, again, 6'2", he's fine. I'm 5'8", plenty of room. So so we have what we need for sleeping. We're not deprived in that, being a shorter Sprinter. We don't have as much cabinet space as you'll see in a 22 or a 24-foot van. But what we've done is we've actually
Mind if we peek while you video? Sorry.
we've done things so we've got little baskets that we've got in here for storage. We've got for our bedding. Our bedding is hidden in plain sight. We put our sheets, we put our blankets in here, and so we don't have to worry about, oh, we need to overhead, we need to use some of our storage for linen.
Very cool.
Yeah. And under here, this pulls out. There's a, with our model, we don't have a heater in the back, so we have a basket so we can store more blankets, computers, whatever we want to put in there.
So where's your heater?
My heater is actually underneath my sink. And with this, we did a trip out west, and my daughters went to a winery, and we were the wine mules coming back. And you would be surprised how many bottles of wine that you can put in there. So that was a feature that we thought was interesting. So far as going on back, we have the Nova Pool, which is great. It works really well for us, and what we do a lot of times is we'll either make meals ahead of time, put them in the freezer, and we'll cook with that. You'll notice too that we don't have your big space. We don't have the Quorum top. We have just the plastic, but and we have a small trash can. But we have, you know, our heater here. It's great. Everything works. In the back, we don't have the table for storage, but we actually just leave our table up all the time, and we don't have any issues with that, even for sleeping, because we extend our beds. We sleep single, each one has a twin, and it's great. In here we have the typical shelves that you'll have in the embassy with the pull-out drawers, but on this side we actually have adjustable shelves. The shelf is fixed, but these are Velcroed in, so we could pull these out if we wanted. We could have it as a hanging one. We could pretty much haul anything.
So, understanding that in any B van, every cubic inch is precious, but nevertheless, despite this being on the shorter side compared to some of the others, it's got all the room you find you need.
We have gone all the way to from the East Coast to the West Coast in this. Spent about a month in it. We're not full timers yet, but it was great. We didn't find any issues. We just found if we would have had a larger van, we would have taken more stuff, and we really didn't need to. Everything works out well. The nice thing about Embassy, you get the chassis that works for you, you get the layout that works for you, and they're great with working with you.
And you've shown us some of your odds and ends that you've bought to make the space work for you. Is there sort of a favorite modification or piece of gear that you haven't shown us yet?
Well, one of my favorite things is I found a site that will actually let you make cinch sacks or some other type of bags. And so what we have done is made some interesting kind of things. Like behind you, Guy, if you'll pull that off the shelf, the gray bag.
This right here?
Yes.
I'm going to hand that to you.
Yeah. So this is actually our, there's like I said, a site where you can put in the length and the diameter. This is our analog tissue paper. And it's the little Boy Scout trick where you take the toilet paper, you take out the core, so you can pull it here. I've made a similar one for here that hangs on our back door, so where we have our lavio, because again, short sprinter. We do have a sliding door here, but we don't have a door in the back except for the back door. And so this can hang, and this is where we have our toilet paper. So
Ingenious. Well, thanks very much for inviting us in, Kathy. It's been great.
thank you.
Okay, we hope you enjoyed that. That's it for part 2. Check back soon for part 3, and you'll get to see 2 other versions of the Embassy RV Class B van. One, the Embassy SS, and the other, the Embassy SL, coming soon. That's it for now. Take care.
We hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time here at Amore Van.